Let me tell you something. Most people don't realize overthinking is the #1 killer of dreams. Not fear, not failure, not lack of money, overthinking. You had an idea, you had a plan, just you wanted to move, and then what happened? You sat down and your mind started running 1,000 scenarios. What if it doesn't work? What if I fail? What if people laugh? What if it's not perfect? By the time you're done asking yourself useless questions, the opportunity has already passed you by. Understand this. Overthinking is nothing but hesitation in disguise. And hesitation is death. The world doesn't wait for you to figure it out. Life doesn't pause while you sit in your head trying to calculate every possible outcome. The harsh truth? While you're overthinking, someone else is out there acting. And action beats thought every single time. Now, don't get me wrong. Thinking is necessary. Planning is necessary. But there's a razor-thin line between preparation and paralysis. And most people cross it without even realizing. They call it, I'm just preparing. No, you're not preparing. You're procrastinating with your thoughts. You're hiding in your head because the real world feels uncomfortable. Let me give you an example. You want to start a business. Instead of taking step 1, building a simple page, making your first sale, you start researching for weeks, reading books, watching videos, comparing strategies. Then you start doubting, is this the right niche? What if the market crashes? What if I lose money? 6 months pass. You're still in the same spot, overthinking the same thing. And then you meet someone who started 6 months ago. They didn't know everything. They made mistakes. But guess what? They already have results while you have nothing. That's the poison of overthinking. It keeps you safe. But safe is exactly where nothing happens. Safe is mediocrity. Safe is regret. So the question is, how do you stop overthinking once and for all? The answer is brutal, but it's simple. You need to train your brain to value action over thought. You need to teach yourself that doing something badly is infinitely better than doing nothing perfectly in your head. Because the truth is, action clarifies while overthinking complicates. Think about it. The moment you actually try something, you get feedback. You immediately know what works, what doesn't, where to adjust. That's real clarity. But when you sit and think, you get nothing but illusions. Your brain invents problems that don't even exist. 90% of the things you worry about never even happen in reality. You're fighting ghosts. Here's the secret habit that kills overthinking. Make decisions fast and commit to them. Most people don't realize that indecision is a decision itself. When you can't decide, you're actually choosing to stay stuck. You're choosing delay, and delay is the thief of time. I live by this rule. When I have a choice to make, I give myself a maximum of 60 seconds, not because I'm reckless, but because I trust myself. I trust that whatever decision I make, I'll make it work. That's confidence. That's power. You don't need to know all 100 steps. You only need to know step 1. And the moment you take step 1, step 2 reveals itself. Life doesn't give you the full map. Life gives you the next move. Overthinking comes from the need to control the entire path before you even start walking. But you don't need the entire path. You only need momentum. Now let's get practical. Next time you catch yourself overthinking, I want you to ask yourself one simple question. What's the next physical action I can take right? Not tomorrow. Not after you finish planning. Right now. If you're overthinking starting the gym, stop watching fitness videos and go buy the membership. If you're overthinking starting a business, stop researching and make your first call, your first sale. If you're overthinking sending that message, send it, done. Immediate action cuts the loop of overthinking. Another key to stop overthinking is to understand where it comes from. Overthinking is not intelligence, it's fear. Fear of judgment, fear of failure, fear of loss. Once you realize that, you stop glorifying it. Some people say, I overthink because I'm smart. No, you overthink because you're scared. The man who isn't scared acts. The man who is scared thinks. So the real battle is not with your thoughts, but with your courage. Do you have the courage to act without knowing the outcome? Do you have the courage to move without guarantees? That's what separates winners from losers. Let me tell you, overthinking is also a symptom of too much comfort. When you have too much free time, when life is too easy, your brain has space to wander. That's why soldiers in battle don't overthink. They don't have time. They act. Urgency destroys overthinking. So if you want to stop, you need to create urgency in your own life. Short deadlines, immediate challenges, pressure forces clarity. One more thing, you need to accept that mistakes are part of the process. Overthinking is the illusion that you can avoid mistakes if you think long enough. Wrong. You're going to make mistakes anyway. The difference is, will you make them early and learn, or will you make them late and regret? The man who starts, fails, adjusts, and grows will always beat the man who sits and thinks for years. Listen, your life is ticking away. Every minute you spend trapped in your head is a minute you could have used to change your reality. You don't have time to overthink. You're going to die one day, and when you're on your deathbed, you won't regret the mistakes you made. You'll regret the chances you never took because you were too busy thinking. So here's the secret. Once and for all, act fast, fail fast, learn fast. Overthinking ends the moment action begins. If you want freedom, if you want success, if you want to build the life you dream of, you cannot sit in your head and wait. You must move. You must act. You must decide. Because the only cure for overthinking is execution. Stop thinking, start doing. That's how you kill overthinking forever. Let me go even deeper with you. Think about the last time you overthought something. It could be simple, like sending a text message. You typed it, deleted it, typed it again, edited it, reread it 10 times before hitting send. And when you finally sent it, what happened? Nothing dramatic. The world didn't collapse. The person replied normally. The thing you were scared of didn't even exist outside of your own head. That's the problem. Your mind invents problems and you treat them as reality. Overthinking makes you live in imaginary pain. You suffer twice, once in your head and once maybe in real life. But 90% of the time, the pain never comes in reality. It was only in your imagination, so you waste energy fighting something that doesn't even exist. Now ask yourself how much of your life has been wasted this way. How many hours, days, even years have you lost because of thoughts that never turned real? Imagine if all that time was invested into action. Imagine how far ahead you'd be right now. That's the price of overthinking. Lost time, lost opportunities, lost life. Let me tell you a story. Two men wanted to start a business. The first one thought for months. He researched, compared, debated, doubted. He wanted everything perfect. The second man, he picked an idea and one day started. He failed his first attempt, lost some money, learned, tried again, adjusted. By the time the first man finally launched his perfect business after 6 months, the second man had already failed twice, learned, and built a business that actually made money. Who do you think ended up ahead? The one who acted, always, because experience beats theory. That's why I always say, overthinking is cowardice dressed as intelligence. It makes you feel smart because you're analyzing. But the truth is, you're just scared to face reality. You'd rather live in the comfort of possibilities than the discomfort of action. But reality doesn't reward thinkers. It rewards doers. Now let's make this practical. How do you actually rewire yourself to stop overthinking? Step 1, time limits for decisions. Stop giving your brain infinite time. The longer you think, the more fear grows. If it's a small decision, give yourself 60 seconds. If it's a big one, maybe 24 hours. That's it. Decide. Move. Because clarity comes from doing, not thinking. Step 2, embrace imperfection. Your need for everything to be perfect before you act is what fuels overthinking. You want the perfect plan, the perfect moment, the perfect guarantee. But life doesn't give perfect. Life gives you imperfect chances that you must make perfect through action. Repeat this in your head. Done is better than perfect. Step 3, reduce the noise. Overthinking often comes from too much input, too many opinions, too much information, too many comparisons. You ask 10 people for advice, then wonder why you're confused. Simplicity is power. Limit the inputs. Trust your own judgment. Step 4, create a bias toward action. Every time you feel yourself stuck in thought, snap yourself out with movement. Drop and do push-ups. Walk outside, make the call, write the message. Train your brain to associate overthinking with immediate physical action. Break the pattern with movement. And step 5, accept the worst-case scenario. Most overthinking comes from fear of what if. So face it. Ask yourself, what's the worst that could happen if I fail? Most of the time, the worst is not even that bad. You lose some money, some time, maybe some pride, but you survive. You recover. You try again. When you realize the worst is survivable, the fear loses its power. Now listen closely, this is important. Overthinking will never disappear completely. Your brain will always try to run scenarios. That's normal. But the goal is not to eliminate thought. The goal is to control them, to recognize when thinking turns into paralysis, and to shut it down with action. It's like driving a car. Your thoughts are the GPS. They give you direction. But if you sit in the car staring at the GPS without driving, you're not going anywhere. Action is the engine. You must press the pedal. Only then do the directions matter. Let me challenge you right now. Think of one area in your life where you've been overthinking. Maybe it's fitness, business, relationships, money. Got it? Good. Now, before today ends, take one action in that area. Doesn't matter how small. Sign up for the gym, make the call, post the ad, write the first page. Just do one thing. That one step kills the overthinking loop instantly. Here's the truth. Successful people don't have less fear. They just act faster. They feel the same doubts, the same what ifs, but they don't live there. They move. That's the difference. So if you want to stop overthinking once and for all, here's the ultimate mindset shift. Value speed over perfection. Value learning over waiting. Value action over endless thought. Life is short. Your dreams are dying every second you hesitate. Overthinking won't protect you. It will bury you. So stop thinking about it. Start doing something about it. And the moment you start, you'll realize something powerful. Action silences doubt. Movement kills fear. Execution destroys overthinking. That's the real secret.